CEOs and EVCs. Like, where else can you go? And there's multiple CEOs and EVCs, and it's just awesome, isn't it? Everybody say awesome. Awesome. First question, we're going to move quickly here, and you guys can share the mics or however you see fit. But I want to ask the ladies this question up front. And so there's a lot of people in our teams, as you all know, that we have had people around for a little while. We have the new people in the room, we have people that are just getting started. And I want to start by asking this question from the people that have been around a little while. I've been in the business for a while, but I'm not getting the results that I'm looking for. What would you recommend I do to break through the barrier? And so any of you can start.
Get to work. I mean, honest to goodness, like, if you work hard enough, the results will follow. Results are always a byproduct of hard work. If you're not good at a skill set, it's only because you haven't done it enough times. You get competence and confidence from repeating the same activities over and over and over. If your ratios don't get better, you don't even need to talk to anybody on this platform. You can talk to any SME, anybody with a ring, and they can help you tweak what you're saying or what you're not saying. But it's like you figure a lot out just by doing it. This is a business where people need way more experience and way less training. We're always looking to get trained on stuff. What you need is experience. You need to do it a couple hundred times, and I promise you, if you've been trained enough, once you're doing it enough times, you'll figure it out. I promise you that.
Let me add something to that. Since just click right away, like you got so some of us want to make 50 or 100 or I don't know, replace a career of 200,000, whatever it might be. But the challenge, again, I said this on stage, does your schedule reflect your vision? So what I mean by that is, does your schedule contain like bowling night? So you want to make 100 grand part-time, and you have bowling night, or whatever obviously occupies your schedule, and all these agendas. So to me, for example, the TV was one of them. I mean, for a decade, I didn't have a TV. 11 years, that's the exact how many years I didn't have a TV. So there's a lot of these things that occupy our schedule that we still want to have, and then we want this, and it's just, I mean, we look at time, which is the only thing equal between you and I, and then somehow, some way, we're still going to achieve it in spite of occupying all the stuff in our schedule. Whatever that might be for you, whether it's TV, a bunch of hobbies that don't serve you, at least at this point, like, you shouldn't have hobbies if you're broke. I mean, like, it doesn't make sense. Like, if you use some common sense, let's use some common sense. I see so many people that are broke and have a bunch of hobbies, right? It completely doesn't make sense, right? You know, I don't have time with my wife, I don't have date night, and the same token, you have bowling night with a bunch of guys. Freaking quit bowling night, pay attention to your wife. That's how you stay married. I mean, so some of us just need to prioritize, and obviously the work is easy if we got some prioritization on our schedule.
Give Paul a hand, you guys. Hey, I want to add to that, right? So part of it is working, because let me ask you this, how many of you guys put in the work, right? But still not producing the results that you want, right? So I think the higher law to that is you got to work, but at the same time you got to believe, right? Because if you don't believe, so part of it is, you ever, like, where's Ed Burns at, right? So if you look at the way Ed, does he walk like a gentleman that he believes that he can make some things happen, right? And so maybe it's just, you gotta, Garrett also talked about stepping into the new version of you, right? So you gotta see yourself as that person winning already. And in the beginning, man, you gotta psych yourself out, right? There's a whole bunch of lists that I did growing up in the business to do to psych my mentality out, right? To get rid of the old me, to step into the new me. So put in the work, and the other part of it is psychology, that you gotta mess your head up, right? You gotta go crazy a little bit. So, anyways.
Okay, we got, ask my mom, we gotta go to the next question. So thank you.
We heard from you guys, and I thought that was great. But I'm sitting here, I swear to you, I'm sitting here, I remember when Dan trained me, and I was coachable to the 9th degree, or 10th degree. And I'm looking at here, and I'm thinking, when Dan told me never come to a meeting without a guest, remember? Never come to a meeting without a guest. He told me, don't worry what you say, just get people there. In the beginning, I had to ask him because he was always a man of few words. He knew it. But that was good for me because it was very militant, but I was afraid to make a mistake. So if he told me jump, I'd say how high. If he said let's do this, let's do that. But I was totally in love. Like if you're not a client, I don't know if you can be in love with it, but I was totally in love with the fact that we changed lives. I was totally, and he told me zip yourself up in something that repels negativity. And I remember I held that so long, and I'm looking, I just want to tell you this real quick. I'm looking at this room right now, and if you guys saw what you look like, you look amazing. We're all looking at you. But I decided right now, I want you all to just run with bringing people to the meeting. Chris Felton said, you bring people to the meeting or to meet us to change their life. And I've always thought that, Dan told me that, I've always felt that. Everybody say, I want to change people's lives. Now, if we go back to work next week, if you all get one recruit, only one, we double the size of this room. I want you to understand that we could go to the end of the year event, or the next year event as it is, with 3,000 people, 5,000 people. If you just decide not to be selfish and hold yourself away from people, that's what I think.
Awesome. Thank you, Mom. Everybody say thank you, Mom. Awesome. So the other question I have is, how do you create a team culture and a team identity?
Well, there's, you have to pay attention to energy, right? So, for example, I don't want to get too philosophical on you, but if you take a look at a rose, for example, a rose, in order for it to grow, it needs dirt. But if it gets too much dirt, it dies. It also needs sun, but if it gets too much sun, it dies. It also needs water, but if it gets too much water, it dies. So it needs a combination of everything, right? So a lot of times we pay attention, from an energy standpoint, we pay attention to the negative things that are going on in our business instead of the positive things that are going on in our business, right? So wherever your focus goes, your energy goes, right? So one of the things that I program my mind, I only see the good. Does that make sense? So one of the conversations I would have with Francis, I said, what are you focused on your business? Are you focused on growing the grass, or are you focused on killing the weeds? So if I'm focused on killing the weeds, that's all I see is the weeds. Or I can change the environment of the dirt, and the weeds cannot even grow, right? So when you think about the culture, your culture in your office, is your culture in your office encouraging? Is it praising? Is it recognizing? Do I feel great when I'm in your environment? So if I'm part-time, right? If I'm part-time and I dislike my job, but then I come into your environment, and your office environment, and there's drama, and there's negativity. I mean, it's just like being at a job, right? So as a leader, you have to protect your environment. That's why the MO zone, the momentum zone, we call MO zone momentum zone, right? So you've got to teach your team, you got to lead your team, it's a 90% mindset, right? So once you create that positive environment where people feel great, they can't wait to come to the office because they love the way they feel. They get the spirit of the business. They love the way they feel, and they feel that in this environment, they're gonna achieve their dreams. Now you got a winning environment. Now remember what we said, you're one recruit away from an explosion. You never know when that new recruit is gonna walk into your environment. 99% of the interviews that I've done, you guys, and I asked them, out of everything you saw last night, what was the number one thing that intrigued you the most about the business? The number one answer I've always got, I love the way I felt when I walked in the room, right? So take inventory of your environment. Take inventory of your environment, and if your environment is growing and people are winning, right? People feel good. So if your team's not inviting, right? You can tell the difference in your energy when you have a personal guest. So Hiram, you show up to your BPM, you got 3, 4 guests, right? Your energy is totally different. And if your team is looking at you, they're going, man, if he has 3 guests, right? If he has to be guest, what should I be doing? I should be bringing guests too, right? So when your team is growing, right? When your team is growing, they're excited and they're happy. When they're not growing, the leader's not growing, right? Just like we said, you're either growing or you're dying. So when you see someone that has a negative attitude, the reason that they have a negative attitude is one, someone's not stretching their vision, stretching their thinking, right? And two, they're not winning, they're not getting results. So as a leader, it's your job to make sure that you are getting results, but then also encouraging your team and showing them exactly how to get results.
Awesome. Thank you, Dan. Yeah.
You know, I agree 100% with Dan, because I trained with Dan. The two things you can control outside of the WFG system is you can control your attitude and you can control your environment. And what it doesn't mean is that each person wants to have their own environment and have an environment full of chaos. There's got to be some sort of team identity and some sort of team vision. So, for example, ours is really visual in terms of the round table that everyone's fighting for. So in your office and on your team, what's your environment? The first thing you got to ask yourself is, what do I want and what's my vision for the team and how often do I talk to the team about it? Does your team know exactly what your goal is? Right? Does your team know what your goal is? Do you feel like family when you're in there? And it's just with great gratitude, that we create our environment. Right? That's really where it starts. You got to think about something bigger than yourself. And once you do that, you can think about power of the company and power of the team.
Thank you, Jeff. Give Jeff a round of applause. Okay. Another question that came to us is, coming from a corporate or employee background, what are the top areas that I need to change in my mindset as I transition to becoming an entrepreneur?
Well, having worked for a long time as a nurse, the tendency is when you come in to the business, you come in like, I put in my time, I should expect some, return on my time. But when you're an entrepreneur, sometimes you put in 100 hours and you get nothing. But that 100 hours will make you millions, 2, 3 months, 6 months, or 2 to 3 years down the road. It's a long-term mentality, as opposed to you trade time for money. You trade ideas for money. What are those ideas? The ideas of building the business, the ideas of the great products that we have. Those are what you're trading. So you get good in telling stories about those ideas. You reap the benefit of that. So it's really a mindset change. And the other thing is, most people when they come, they expect too much from their leaders, and if their leaders don't say or tell them to do anything, they don't do nothing either. As an entrepreneur, Mickey, when I learned this from him, he said, the real meaning of the word entrepreneur in French, he said, entre means to enter. Preneur is to take control. You are the one who controls your business. So if you're coming from a job mentality, you're into WFG to take control of your future, take control of your business, listen to your leaders, but you have to be self-initiated.
Thank you, Francis.
All right, we've got a little bit of experience. Jeff and I both did certified. We both came from corporate America. One thing I'm going to backpedal to the last question real quick on culture and environment. Just one thing I want to add to that. If your culture, your environment, your office, it doesn't matter what your title is. You're either the thermostat or the thermometer. Thermometers react to the environment around them, and they complain if they don't like it. Thermostats create the environment. So you got to determine what kind of environment you want, and you create that environment with your energy. On the whole corporate America thing, I think what Francis said is 100% true, but I think the great challenge, like I was in corporate America for a long time, I was an employee, and if you look at Kiyosaki's 4 quadrants, I thought like an employee. I didn't think like an entrepreneur, I didn't think like a business owner, and I could understand when people would talk about, well, here's the way those guys think, and I would understand it intellectually, but it took more than understanding intellectually for me to begin thinking that way. So one of the things I learned from Dan early on was to play to your strengths. So my strength when I joined this business, when I started, not only when I was part-time, but even when I was a new full-timer, even when I was new as an SFB, my strength coming from the corporate background was I was an unfreaking believable employee. I was a great employee. If my boss said jump, I said how high. That's what made me a great employee. I showed up early, I worked late, I did everything they told me to do to exceed what they expected of me. That's how I did well in the corporate environment. So when I came here, I said, I'm going to be an employee to my SMD. And I'm going to be the best employee that he has. But the difference is, it's the last time I'm ever going to be an employee in my life. If I just listen to what he's telling me, like he's my boss, and like I'm an employee, if he says, show up at this time, make this many calls, do this, I treated him like a boss. I didn't treat myself like I was a boss. I didn't know how to be a boss to myself. He was my boss, but when I listened to him long enough, here's what happened. At one point, I became free of being an employee never again because I listened to him for so long. What he constantly told me to do and I reacted to became habits. And my habits became the habits of somebody who was an entrepreneur. My habits became the habits of a business owner. My thinking became that way because it followed my activity. So I didn't try and be a boss myself. I was an employee here long after I was in SMB. Quite frankly, I was an employee to him until after I hit my ring. And then I started to notice that I was thinking more and more like an entrepreneur.
This is just 5 seconds. One of my pet peeves in the business is when a training associate or associate goes, man, I'm a business owner, that's why I'm not in yet. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. And you gotta submit, you know, it's almost submitting to your SMD until you become one. I mean, that's just the part of it. So. So definition of a business owner is you have 500 employees. 500 licensed agents, then you have a company.
I remember when I was brand new in Paul's Space Shop, I was like, you know, winning all the recognitions on a weekly basis, and then for some reason I felt like the Mosul is for people who are not bringing results. So I stayed on the parking lot during Mosul time. One Saturday he caught that. He texted me. He said, hey, where are you at? I said, I texted back, I'm not your employee. Why are you texting me? And he texted me back. He said, I tell you, in the big base shop, you're still an employee. I just wanted the most of them.
Awesome. Thank you, Francis. And here's the last and final question. Because a lot of us are here with our spouses, and some of us are here without our significant others. And so this question is actually one of the most critical ones, because it can either make you in business, if you make this happen in the right way, or it can break you from reaching your goals. But it's a two-part question. What is the best way to gain spousal support? And how do I help my spouse get more involved in the business? So what is the best way to gain spousal support and help my spouse get more involved in the business?
Want to know the truth about to gain spousal support, the spouse has to make a lot of money. I'm joking, but a little bit. There's truth to that. I've always supported Dan. I've always supported Dan from the beginning because I saw him get up every day, want to win. It's not every day we weren't making money all the time. There was a lot of tough times. I know that it may look like, from looking at us right now, that we had money the whole time because Dan's always been this powerful guy, and he's so charismatic and he's always been a leader. But you know, you go through different stages, and the reason why I've stuck it with him all these years is because I've seen him fight through it. You go through different stages, right? There's going to be some highs and lows, some peaks and valleys, and there's so many people that come in for your team, and you know, some are so awesome, but then some also, you know, if you climb to the top, there's a lot of people that will also take shots at you. And so, you know, we've always had this vision from the beginning of where our future was going to be. And this is what we stuck with every single day. That this was, we were going to go after it no matter what. And so with that foundation that we started, you know, we've always stuck to that. And that's why I can look at him, and then he gets up. It's not that he's going gonna have these days where he doesn't let me down, you know? So that's why I can back him, because I know that he's this rock. He's so solid in that area. And so that's why I want to support him, and because I know what it means, because we know what the future is, and we know this vision, it continues to grow, and that's why I support him. And you can answer this too, you know?
I support my husband because I see a bigger mission in what we do. And if I don't support him, who's going to support my husband? So I want the life, great life. So if I'm just going to ask him to do it, you do it, you do it, I can do it myself. It might take him, to accomplish something. So if I help him together, we can accomplish great things.
So what is the best way to gain spousal support and help my spouse get more involved in the business? I think that's two parts. I think one way to gain spousal support is you got to be a spouse worth supporting. Do you all agree with me on that? I think you got to be a spouse worth supporting. What that means is you got to show up every day. If you're full-time in a business, you got to run an actual full-time schedule. Okay, you got to make the calls. You got to go out and prospect. Your spouse has to see you get up every day and fight for your dreams. And someone asked me why it seemed so easy for me to support Paul. It's because he went after our dreams. He sold me the dream of what our life was going to be like, right? You guys all saw our wedding photo. 13 years ago when we got married, and we were laughing about it earlier, but he sold me the dream. He sold me the dream of what our life was going to look like, what it was going to feel like, and where we were going to be 5, 10, 15 years down the road. We got married, we didn't have any money, but guess what we had? We weren't rich in dollars, but we were rich in dreams and drive and hunger. And so our journey through this business it was very easy to support him because he sold me the dream of what the business was going to look like, not the nightmare. Does that make sense? He came home and told me how great our future was going to be. He didn't come home to me. And even to this day, he doesn't really tell me all the negative things that happen in our business. He always comes to me and delivers great news to me. Do you come home and deliver great news to your spouse? Or do you come home and complain about the charge back? Do you come home and complain about the people who quit on you? The question is, do you do that? Because here's the thing. I had somebody come up to me and was telling me that the spouse wasn't supportive and all these things about their spouse. Well, let me ask you this. Have you made any money? Right? Or do you just come home and you cry about all the things that happens to you? And he was telling me how negative his spouse was and how his spouse wanted him to quit the business. I said, well, listen, if you come home and tell your spouse every day all this pain you're experiencing from WFG, right? People quitting on you, your church back, not making any money. People say yes, but they don't show up. Well, guess what? It's not that your spouse is not supportive of you. It's just that you've sold them the nightmare of this business. Because at the end of the day, your spouse loves you, right? And if they see you in pain, what do they want to do? They want you to get out of that pain. So it's not that they don't support WFG. It's the fact that they don't want to see you go through this pain because they love you. But what if you came home and told them the dream? Say, hey, we're going to go through some challenges, but guess what? We're going to go through it together, and this is where we're going to be. So one, you got to be a spouse who's supportive. That's through your habits and behaviors. Two, constantly sell your spouse a dream, not the nightmare. It doesn't mean that times are not going to be tough, right? Because if this was easy, guess what? All of you guys would be up here today. I got to tell you, I got a lot of respect for the leadership team up here. If you're a CEO and above, I got a ton of respect for you. You know why? I know you've gone through some stuff. I know you've gone through not just people that quit, but SMDs and base shops and teams of people that have quit on you. But guess what? You're a champion because you're still staying. So be that spouse with support and be that great example, right? So that's one. And secondly, some of you spouses out there that are quietly supporting your spouses, what does that mean? That means you're maybe at home, you're taking care of the kids. Maybe you're doing all the things in the household so that your spouse, your wife, your husband can go out and see after your dreams. Well, you know what? You're some of the unsung heroes of this business. You know that? You're the reason why, I know Michelle is a big reason why Jeff is treat them with love and respect, and at the end of the day, when you get home, take time to talk to your spouse, take time to tell them how great and how wonderful your day went today. So, you know, people ask me all the time, how come you guys have, Paul and I have such a great working relationship? Well, those are the top two things. So, hope that helps.
And that's the last question. So just to wrap it up, I just had a note here. I gotta share with you because I see Dan do this, and I don't see too many people do it, and or at least if I'm not around enough of you to know that. So, but I know Dan pretty good, and I see him do this, and I've done this. One of the things about bringing bad news home is the mindset. I'll give you the mindset on that. I don't want the same problem to occupy my spouse's mind. It only needs one mind to solve it. I don't need to bring it home and it occupies her mind, and then now it's on her mind while she's taking care of the kids. You know what I mean? So if I can solve it, why do I need to share it? That's my mindset on it. So I don't want it to occupy two minds. So sometimes you'll ask me, how come you didn't share this with me? Well, I don't want that problem on your head. I want it on my head. I'll solve it, and you have some peace of mind. And so I see Dan, Dan doesn't bring problems at home either, right? And I'm sure many of you guys here, so when you share some trash on me, I don't bring it home. You know what I mean? It stays with me, I solve it, and that's that. And so just make sure, you don't occupy it. If you can solve it, why share it? Right? I know, that's just my philosophy. I've seen Dan do it, and I think it's a great thing. And then you can have some peace of mind at home as opposed to base shop, whatever. Anyway, that's some realness. All right.
Awesome. We're good. So I wanted to just let everybody know that was our panel discussion today. Let's everybody get on your feet. Let's give a big push for the EBC CEO team, Synergy Financial. Instrumental in the Synergy team, EMP, $250,000 ring winner, on her way up to CEO, and she's going to break through over $500,000, and you're going to watch her surge up the ring. So let's give it up to the one, the only, Nikki Cannon.
All right, let's get these chairs off the stage. Where are my Kingdom Builder dancers? I need my energy up here. Where are my dancers at? Get my girls up here. Raise the energy. Can I get the field captain on the stage? The Fab Lord, Fab on the stage, please. This afternoon, we're going to recognize those individuals in the personal and S&D cash flow and senior marketing director and above promotion. So, I know it's after lunch. So you guys are in a food coma. Standing right where you are. I want you to do like 3 jumping jacks in place. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 3 jumping jacks. Let's go, you guys. All right, we had one promotion that got missed. I want to recognize this individual is Senior Associate Promotion, Mr. Reggie Tanganen. Come on over, Reggie. For his Senior Top 20